Right, so continuing this investigation, right? As I was saying that last one, Suella Braverman, right? Basically named after this, right? Now, Suella Braverman is meant to be Indian and not Muslim, right? But that's just too much of a coincidence, like, you know. And there's Moses the lawgiver, right? Moses again is like Mus or Masonic, right? Interestingly, the lawgivers in the Planet of the Apes as well, and the Island of Dr. Morio, you know, by H.G. Wells. You know, they're both big animal hybrid type of stories. Right? They're both got a lawgiver in it. Very important story parts of their stories. Of course, these daft hats, you know, mushroom heads or whatever, you know, which is like, again, that says to me that this stuff is basically didn't exist, right? But it's something which they're going to bring about. An Ottoman Empire, you know, like based on Otto Habsburg political law, right? Habsburg and Kalergi, right? So you have these turbanoids walking around Europe and that. The Turbinator, you know. So basically, you know, these characters launched the pan-European movement. Yeah. As I say, my estimation would be that the Islamic idea was formulated around about this time for a specific purpose. Right? So it's basically a very newish type of religion. Right? And as you also see there with this Kudenhoof's birthday, right? 7/11. Right? So not where it, if you now you had the 19, you had the COVID-19, you had the 9/11. Basically flip that here round, you've got the 9/11 with Richard Kudenhoof. So you've always got that somewhere to do with it. So basically, Kudenhoof's birth date, 7/11, right, is the Islamic conquest of Hispania, which is obviously Spain, right? So it's that's the idea of the Muslims conquering Europe, right? Obviously, opening the door for the Muslim conquest of the Iberian Peninsula. Muslim Spain, 7/11 to 1492. Conquest of Paradise in that Christopher Columbus movie. In the New World, you know, the New World. This is some form of, like, obviously back programming. You know. It's all to do with brainwashing and control, right? And obviously now to do what really happened in history. Yeah, the Quran and a lot of stuff like it says in 1984, sort of double speak, you know, where you can read into it the opposite meanings and all that. You know, the idea of how Jesus was supposed to say, today you will be with me in paradise, right? Now, of course, paradise is also associated with Muslims. So you see a Jannah. See the Janissaries. Ottoman Empire. Again, the type of thing of a modern standing army. Boots on faces. Again, from 1984. I've already done Das Boot, which is the boot. Right? So So you got your small boat migrants, and your boot stamping on a human face forever from the George Orwell. Boots on ground, as in the military invasion. And this was, of course, about a submarine. Yeah, like a hidden mission, right? A hidden mission submarine. Now again, German, as in like the European Union, the Otto von Habsburg and all this. Right? So this is all part of the code. Now again, we have the Kalergi book, Practical Idealism, right? Basically, right, Islam. You got Islam in that, right? The practical idea of Islam, to create multiculturalism, in the West. Of course, it's probably coming from their perspective, right? All those rich aristocrats and all that who formed these pan-European unions and all that, right? It's probably their idea of practically ideal, This would be practically ideal if we could create this scenario where you've got all these people mixed in together and all that, right? So it's basically something like that, Now basically, when you take the word alias, right, and your capital A, right, you just put the cross piece in the middle, right? You basically form an M, right? So you've got Islam again, right? Islam, right? Alias. Used to indicate a named person is also known or more familiar under no specified name. Eric Blair alias George Orwell. Funny it says that, right? But again, so it's like Islam, alias, who they really are, right? Which is Jews, right? AKA, alright. So Islam again is an alias, right? For more Eastern Jewish peoples. So as you see here, the past is the future is the past. Which is basically the type of thing what they're trying to do, right? Is the creator of the backstory, which is obviously there's no way to prove it if it's what happened in the past history actually happened and all that, right? But you can see the motivations for creating a fake one, right? That's basically what they do. The fake today's news, right? The fake yesterday's news. So how much easier is it to fake news from supposedly the past that didn't even exist, This happened 400 years ago, and this happened 500 years ago. They chance there's no way to prove it, or people who blindly accept what they tell them. Really need to wake up a bit, Obviously, I've shown this one a few times and that. Tommy Robinson obviously being one of the biggest psyop things against Islam. And then of course you got this one, basically like a twin type idea. I wouldn't say it was the exact same one, but they definitely test tube twins or something. So obviously, that's like more than a coincidence. Like it's just, when you're talking about Kempson, it was even Kempson. Kampf is battle, right? Basically, this word going from right to left, W-A-R, war. So my battle, my war, right? And there's the reform, the reform. So unbelievably, you've still got like things like sources like The Guardian, right, which is obviously a left-wing liberalist publication or whatever, Carl Mees, Reform Party, Islamophobic and even borderline racist, fascist and all the rest, right? But I mean, to me, what I'm seeing is the biggest wolf in sheep's clothing and the biggest Islamic placater of Islam. Yeah, and you still got this stuff, yeah. Like I say, we just over there on the TV when he was having an interview chat with this Muslim woman, talking about the special relationship with Dubai, you know. And I was thinking, like, is that? Yeah. You know, the first one I've heard of it. And like, obviously a lot of Masonics go on holiday to Dubai every year. And Saudi Arabia and all this, because the Islamic, the Islamic friendliness is rising amongst them people, you know, the Masonics and the Muslim. You know, it's that relationship is becoming tighter and closer, you see. That's what it's about. And so I mean, he's a Islamic, you know, end of. Totally Islamic. As you see here, the soil, you know, our borders, you know, the soil. And basically, as I said in the first part, like the way how they're gonna do it, right, is use the schools. Right? So basically, it's like Pol Pot. If you remember Pol Pot in the year zero regime, right, where they were all against their parents and that, you know, the kids was against their own parents and all that, right. It's basically they're gonna use the schools. Put them all in together, like obviously young Muslim ones and the native Britain ones, and basically build a year zero type idea where there's, you know, they'll all be studying things such as interfaith studies, right? All respecting each other's apparent religions and all this stuff, right? And backgrounds, and you know, obviously the white ones will be getting taught all about Muslimism. But of course, if there's majority of Muslim, which there will be in the schools, right, then obviously the majority thing is going to be the one that the dominating factor, you know, the dominating ideology. Right? And of course, this is a break from obviously the white man's dominant ideology in the past. You know, that's simple as. Like, so they use like a year zero thing. Try to see, this was only 1975. Of course, they aimed to create a new communist society, which is pretty much what they're going to be dealing with in Islamic. A new Islamic society in Britain, yeah. But by step, you know, bringing in the Islamic thing closer and closer. Yeah. Of course, yeah, again, if that reform thing was a real, you know, option type idea, right? I mean, this Braverman one was already in the government under Sunak. So it was like an Indian partnership, and 1.2 million people came in under them. And so why would they put that one in the reforms part, you know? You know? So it's repetition, you know, literally like what Einstein said, that insanity is doing the same things over and over again, expecting a different result. So obviously either these people are insane or they're doing it on purpose. You know? You know what I mean? And obviously look at the news on that. So when you got the reform, you got morph. Morph means to gradually change from one thing to another. You know, basically bringing in Islamic, basically. And basically also Morpheus. Associated with sleeping dreams. Again, it's like the idea of the British people being asleep. And if you know the GB News thing, they're always going on about work. The kind of phrase work, right? So work is bad, and remorph is good. So what they're basically saying is stay asleep and just sleepwalk into Muslimness. You know, that's the brainwashing that's coming off them. In the arms of Morpheus, you know. So obviously, you know, the word gaslight is passed around on these things all the time now. But basically, it's like who's gaslighting who, you know, the whole thing's one big gaslighting operation, you know. All of them are gaslighting the public. Reform is like the biggest wolf in sheep's clothing going, you know.